Apple just started building a dashboard of a $30,000 electric truck. Ford signed on first. Apple's new MapKit for Automotive puts Apple Maps directly inside the vehicle, feeding live road data into Ford's hands-free driving system and warming up the battery before a charging stop. It debuts in Ford's next generation of electric trucks in 2027, and it's a small detail when a much bigger story is actually behind it. The maps run natively in the vehicle, separate from Apple CarPlay, and they feed the kind of road-level data that makes BlueCruise, what they call it, smarter. Ford plans to extend BlueCruise to full highway driving next year. Ford can even hand this capability to its own fleet customers, routing their drivers from one job site to the next. That's really the headline. Here's the part that matters if you sell to other businesses and you're a B2B company. Ford didn't just buy a mapping feature. Ford bought a better experience for every person who drives that truck, and Apple's the one delivering it. That raises a question every supplier needs to sit with. Whose experience does your product actually shape? 2 steps past the company that cuts you your check. I've spent a day on exactly this question with 500 suppliers in the room, keynoting Ford's Global Supplier Summit. Most companies in that room think about the customer directly in front of them. It was Ford. The ones who are really innovative think about the customer's customer, that driver, if you will. And that's what I was talking about at that Global Supplier Summit. Corning is a clear example of this as well. For almost 20 years, Corning's engineers have worked alongside Apple's own teams to build Ceramic Shield, the glass Apple calls the toughest in any smartphone. That work didn't stay a vendor contract. In August 2025, Apple committed $2.5 billion to make all of its iPhone and Apple Watch glass at Corning's plant in Kentucky. The two companies are now opening a joint innovation center together. That's not what happens to a company that filled an order as a supplier. That's what happens to a company that owns a piece of the experience the end customer actually feels. Compare that to suppliers who compete only on price and spec sheets. Every discount trains the customer to expect the next discount, and they get squeezed, you get squeezed from both directions with really no floor underneath you. Qualcomm chose the other path in cars. Its Snapdragon digital chassis handles navigation, driver assistance, and the digital cockpit. And its ride system now runs driver assistance in the BMW iX3. That focus on the driver's actual experience built a $45 billion pipeline of future automotive orders. Qualcomm's automotive revenue passed $1.1 billion in a single quarter this year, up 15% from a year earlier. McKinsey's found that companies who innovate together with their suppliers can lift earnings growth by up to 10%. That's not a rounding error. It's the difference between being a vendor or a supplier and a real partner. When your customer's customer starts asking for your capability or your experience by name, you stop being a line item on someone's spreadsheet. You start being a requirement. That's the shift underneath the Apple and Ford headline, and it applies whether you make glass, chips, or something nobody outside your industry has really ever heard of. That's what I'd encourage you to do with your own supply chain this week. Trace the whole chain. Don't stop at the company that pays you, your customer. Follow your product 1, 2, 3 steps further to the person who actually uses what you built and design specifically for them. Own one moment. You don't need to reinvent your customer's entire experience. Find the single point where your product touches the person on the other end and make that one moment measurably better than any other competitor can. Share the innovation. Don't wait for your customer to ask, "What's new? What do you have?" Bring them something that will delight their own customers before their own customers even know to request it. You're innovating for their customer's customer. Do those 3 things and you'll stop being a line item on someone else's spreadsheet, and you'll become the reason their product wins in the market. That's the reframe, so you can leapfrog the headlines, your leadership, and your business. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and find me at sorenkaplan.com. And I make this podcast free without ads, so if you liked it, please follow it and give it a rating or a like.